ICT in mathematics. My name is Tyler Carboni and my student number is 331698112. I've chosen to talk about is GeoGebra. GeoGebra is a dynamic mathematics software for teaching and learning mathematics from middle school through college level. It is as easy to use as dynamic geometry software, but also provides basic features of computer algebra systems to bridge some gaps between geometry, algebra, and calculus. Here is a link to the GeoGebra site. I'll be referring to the Australian Curriculum Measurement and Geometry for Year 4's content descriptor ACMMG088. Compare and describe two-dimensional shapes that result from combining and splitting common shapes with and without the use of digital technologies. Elaborations for this: identifying common two-dimensional shapes that are part of a composite shape by recreating it from these shapes, and creating a two-dimensional shape from verbal or written instructions. Here we have an example of a composite shape. The entire quadrilateral can then be broken up into two separate shapes, this triangle here and this rectangle here. And choosing the classic option, this is the screen you will be taken to. You have a more scientific calculator at the bottom, and then up here you have multiple icons, each with various roles. For the purpose of the content descriptor I previously named, we will be using this one here. So the students are required to split composite shapes into their smaller shapes. This website is great as students can create their shape using straight lines and then using this button here and choosing line, they are able to split the shape accurately into its more two defined shapes. In a 1 centimeter squared grid, students are also able to measure their shapes accurately. So we know that the bottom of this shape is 6 centimeters long. The advantages of this website to traditional drawing is that students can accurately draw their shapes and then accurately measure and separate their shapes into each separate compartment. Also, if students decide, using this tool here, they feel like they want to draw their own shape, that's fine too. They simply draw their shape and GeoGebra will turn it into a straight lined shape. Now this is quite effective for students who are not so good with a pen and paper and need that little bit of extra help, because not all students are written workers. Some are visual and prefer to actually do the work. Now GeoGebra is great because using this polygon tool, students are able to make any shape and then split it up just as the curriculum descriptor requires. Now if they need more room, that's fine, because GeoGebra is endless. They just easily zoom out, zoom back in, and they have an endless amount of space to do their work. Now, when addressing the curriculum, I believe that this tool is rather useful because it gives students the opportunity to do the work who may not understand it through pen and paper, written or verbal explanation. This gives them a visual understanding. Teachers can use this tool, put it up onto an interactive whiteboard, and a teacher can easily draw out the shape that she requires, like so, and then the students can see exactly what they're required rather than saying, alright, I want a four-sided shape in which I can have a triangle and a square out of. Now for some students that might be a bit confusing. GeoGebra allows these students to enhance their skills through the use of visual representation. Now, that's not the only capabilities of GeoGebra. GeoGebra allows you to plot points, create intersections. There are various different things. So we've got segments, rays, you can even have vectors. And if it comes down to it, students, they can do their reflections, we can have translations, rotations, and that's the great thing about GeoGebra. It isn't too short. GeoGebra is quite broad, and it allows students to learn all maths types. So not just the curriculum descriptor I have chosen, but students can draw circles like this one, so they can work on their radius, they can work on their perimeter area, they can work on their circumference, they can work on all of that to do with a circle simply with this program. Now, students, this is easily accessible. There is no sign up, meaning it's free to use, and students are able to use it without teachers having to worry that they'd be doing something they shouldn't be doing, because GeoGebra is solely for maths and learning purposes. And the thing is, it doesn't get students to do the task. It doesn't show the students how to do the task. It aids them in their own learning, which is great, because the authentic learning is all about students being able to learn from their own choices. And GeoGebra allows them to do that. In relation to the second part of the elaboration, students are required to draw 2D shapes from written or verbal instructions. Now, for some students that might be a bit difficult on pen and paper. However, all they need is a small explanation, and then using the GeoGebra tool, a teacher says, give me a shape with 3 points. They can easily plot 3 points by going and also going back to the first point, and there they have their shape. Now, that's fantastic for all students who are more visual learners rather than written or verbal. Now, GeoGebra doesn't stop there. It has many different features which allows its possibilities to not just stop at geometry maths, but also algebra with the calculator I showed you before. This one here. You can plot lines like so, and you can also work out more complex functions and algebra expressions. I believe GeoGebra is fantastic. It gives students a broader range of tools in order to better enhance their mathematics. Now, what some teachers need to realize is that not all students learn the same. And GeoGebra, it is an authentic learning tool in my belief, as although I give them the tool, the students are free to learn in their own way. I'm not making them say, all right, pen and paper, write this down. It is their choice. They have pen or paper, but they also have this tool. They also have the possibility to use GeoGebra if it would better suit them. I think that in the classroom, GeoGebra would be fantastic and should be implemented into all school mathematics classes. Thank you for listening.